Good morning. I have just left the hut. It's 20 past 8, so a lot earlier today. I'm about to start, but here's the first sign. So it's going to be a fun day. It's overcast today, but there's little bits of blue sky and it's not raining, so that's a good start. So yesterday was a very tough day. The tracks were quite overgrown in places, and there was a lot of rocks and roots and a lot of steep ups and downs to the streams, which is a bit of a scramble. Ended up having to let go of the poles and use my hands quite a few times to get up and down. But not a bad day overall. I quite enjoyed the challenge of it, and it was, even though it was raining in the morning, it eased off in the afternoon and it wasn't cold at all, so it was fine. I was more wet from the vegetation than I was from the rain. Today will be a lot of uphill after an initial down into the valley and back up. Then it should be climbing up above the trees. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm feeling pretty good, which is nice. Legs are a little stiff, but not too bad. So I've just reached the ladder. So I'd heard about the ladder. It's marked on a map as a ladder, and it's pretty impressive. Safety cage and all this time. Alright, so I have to stop filming to get myself down the ladder. So down the bottom of the ladder, went all the way down, and now another short section of ladder, then it looks like I'm back onto the track again. So this is a fun scramble down the track. Unfortunately the rocks are a bit slippery, so I'm having to take it a bit easy, but that's the track disappearing off down there. Okay, so that's where I am heading. The track has improved since that intersection. We're going along the top of the gorge. So it's really neat looking down into the gorge. Pretty hard to show with the camera, unfortunately. But there is a viewpoint near some waterfalls. Mountain is occasionally appearing through the mist, but that's the gorge down there. So able to make a lot better time on this section of track now. Some neat trees here. Look at this monster. Beautiful. So this is Brahms Falls. Bit hard to see with the camera. This is actually a better viewpoint of the falls, and the mountain is definitely starting to show itself, and that's the falls in there. The track has been a steady uphill, but now it's quite a steep bit coming up here, and it's the last sort of push until getting up above the tree line. These plants, when they hang over the track, they leave their seeds which stick to any hair or clothing that you've got. So that's what these black things are on my legs. Still climbing, still got a little bit further to getting out of the bush line. So from here, going along and then up that steep ridge that you can see going up there. Whew, that's a bit of climbing to go. So this is the ridge line I came on, and then this last bit was really steep, and now I'm going to be following along, I think, along the base of these cliffs. That was very tricky coming around because we had this overhang pushing my weight out, and then there was a big drop in here. Ooh, wow. This is definitely a challenging track. It's great though, good fun. See just how challenging this track is, trying to scramble up. This is quite neat, just flaking off the rock. Finally, I'm up and away from those cliffs. That was really, really tricky. Lots of really big climbs, definitely having to hang on to roots, a few pucker moments. And boy, I'm glad I'm not having to go downhill down that, because that would be awful. I'm back out into the tussock. And I was hoping for a nice track. The trouble is, it is so overgrown that I can't see the tracks, so this is going to be quite a slow walk as long as I'm in this deep tussock. I've already slid slightly down the hill a couple of times, so I'm just going to take it really easy. But as challenging as it's been, it's really neat to just stop and look out at the views. Absolutely beautiful. So it's just taken me 10 minutes to get from that marker across to this marker. The tussock's really deep, so it's very hard to see the track, and there's these really steep drop-offs as well. So I nearly fell down a metre deep hole. Thankfully I was able to stop myself in time. So this is definitely going to be slow going, but it's all part of the challenge, and hopefully we'll get to thinner tussock or to an area where there's been some trail maintenance, which would be nice. Just for a little bit for a break. Alright, so I've come up this hill and I actually see a marker right down the bottom there, but I also, the markers are up here and along, so I can see a track going along there as well. So I'm not sure if we drop down and back up, or if it's across. I see another orange marker over there. So, not sure. Anyway, somehow I'm going to get over to there, around, and then we climb up above the next gully, and then down a little bit, and then along and around. So it's going to be some good tramping for the next, it's probably going to take me at least an hour to get over there at the speed I'm going. So the white marker up there is where I took my last video, and the track actually zigzagged down the hill to here, and now we cross the dry stream, and it's up and then along at the base of that, and then it looks like it then climbs up around the other side. The track's a bit better established now, a little bit higher, so the tussock's not as thick, and more in the rocky area, so it's making it much easier to walk through, but there's a lot of little up and downs and rocky bits, so not even sure that I'm going to get to that point in an hour. Like I said, I think it might be longer, but it's fun. Definitely enjoying it, something different. And there's some cute little marker cairns here, just to help you with your way. Little piles of rocks. So just come across the rocky bit. I love the stream. Very unusual to have solid rock like that in New Zealand. And then you've got the rock in the distance there as well, which is pretty cool. Still a little bit of snow despite it being February, mid-February. Okay, and then I am now heading up that hill. Okay, so it took me 55 minutes to get to that point that I was on over there, down the hill, and then you could see up and down all of the valleys, down that valley, just come up here, and I'm just about to go over the higher point. That down there is Lake Dive, and you can see the hut in there, So that's where most people doing this route will go down from here down to that hut, and the next day they come back up again and across. So I'm not doing that, I'm skipping the hut and I'm going through to Dawson Falls. So I'm at the junction to the lake. Basically down there is a signpost, so the track to the hut goes along there, and then the hut's over there. What I'm doing is from the junction is following this track up the hill and continuing around. Lots of butterflies along this patch, black ones and white ones as well. That's the Dawson Falls Visitor Centre down there. This is a lava flow coming down here. Alright, into the next track. So I knew this was going to be a good track. This is the one that goes down to Dawson Falls Visitor Centre, and you can see the track all the way down. You can see a shed which is a shelter, and the visitors area. So while it's a big downhill, and then it's going to be going along and up, you can see where that car park is. I go up past that one to continue along the track. It's constant stairs. This is really strange. It must be a very popular walk that they've put the stairs in. Hopefully it's just to the bottom of the steep part, because it's quite tiring on these stairs. Still dropping down. There was a shelter that I stopped at just for a quick break, and onwards, down, down, down. I've just left the visitor centre, Dawson's Falls, and I'm now heading along the Wilkie's Pools track. So absolutely fantastic track, probably for a kilometre, and then I should divert off into the track that takes me around the mountain. See why there's no maintenance for cutting back the vegetation and why it's so overgrown, because it's all been spent on this flash matting for the walks that are close to the visitors centre. Now that is the first clear view of Mount Taranaki. Fantastic. Alright, off the tourist track now. Stratford Plateau is where I'm heading. Up the stream/track. Now I should be on my own up to the Stratford Plateau. 45 minutes. If I see a good camping spot on the way, then I'll be stopping. Still got stairs, so it's not too remote. So I'm coming up on 8 hours now on what's been a very tough day. Big hill, then lots of ups, downs, massive drop down, which tuned my legs to jelly. So I'm feeling pretty tired now. So I'm on the lookout. The first decent campsite I see, I'm stopping and putting the tent up. But it's pretty cool. It's on a good track at the moment. And quite easy going, so there's the track. It's quite nice. That's where I've just come from, and that's where I'm heading. There's lots of other options there too. Expecting to see this. They're obviously developing the car park for the ski area. Hours 30. Given that it's 4:45, I'm probably just going to push on all the way through to the visitor centre. I'll just take my time, but there's no point setting up my tent when there's only 2.5 hours left to go. There's a cable car that goes that way. However, this is where the hikers go. This track is the alternate to get to the ski field. If you don't take the cable car across, this is the only other way to access the ski field. So it goes down to the rocky area, and then you can see the people walking along, and then back up again. So there's a public shelter, and then the other buildings are part of the ski lodge. That's where I just came from, and I'm doing around the mountain circuit, but not Holly Hut. There's a toilets with a view. Ah, you can see Mount Ruapehu over there. This is inside the public shelter. Manganui Lodge, and then that is what a ski field looks like in the summer. This trail's had some maintenance done recently, cutting back the vegetation, so it looks like it's going to be a good trail most of the way. It's just so neat walking along and being able to look across at the mountains in the far distance. So you got Ruapehu with the snow on top, and then silhouetted by a cloud is Narahoe and Tongariro. The track is constantly going in and out of these gullies and back up down into the next gully, and the gullies are pretty big at this height, so imagine the lower track must be really bad trying to get in and out of all the gullies. So even though it's more climbing, I'm glad I'm on the upper track. Starting to get a bit misty up on the tops there. Oh, that hut is the end of the climbing, and it's all downhill from there. It's been an hour and a half of steady climbing, just constant stairs the whole way. So quite looking forward to getting to that point and downhill all the way. So I've reached the lodge. Now I head down to the transmitter station, and then it's following the gravel road all the way down into the clouds. Somewhere down there is a visitor centre. Good thing about being on a road is there is no steps, so this is going to be a lot easier on my legs going down than I expected. But I'm going to be down into the mist very, very soon. There's a mist down there. This road is awful to walk down. So they've concrete and gravel and rocks, but what happens is each step that I take, the top of my shoe just catches slightly. So I have to take it really easy going down here. But I can now, the mist has started clearing, and that's the visitor centre all the way over there. So I've still got a long, long way to go. Still heading downhill. The long downhill's a bit sore on my legs, but that's not surprising because I'm coming up to 11 hours on my feet so far today. So they've got these little benches about every kilometre, so I'm having a rest at each of those just to try and take some pressure off the legs. It's getting pretty with the cabbage trees on the sides of the road. I'm now 3 hours since I saw the dock sign that said 2.5 hours, and I think I've got another kilometre left. So either I'm going super slowly, or that dock sign was a bit faster than normal. I have reached the car park. So that was 11 hours, 30 minutes and 3.25 hours from that last sign. So I'm pretty tired, but it was a great tramp overall. Glad I did it. Definitely not one for tourists, but good for me. Not quite to the visitor centre, just had to go down the road a bit more, but here it is.